Hello, everyone. I'm Domenico from GameSurf, and I'm happy to have with us today Piotr and Zuzanna from GOG or GOG. Hi, guys.
Hey,
Hi,
hey.
thanks for having us.
Amazing. So, guys, today I hope you can help us to understand more about your project, about the company, the mission of the company. And since maybe someone from the Italian public is not aware of what GOG is, maybe we can start with how the GOG platform came to life, and especially how did you manage during the time to get this kind of position of, I will say, anti-system, So, words to you. Tell us everything.
Okay, so maybe I'll start. I would like to clarify that we don't see ourselves as anti-system. I think we are part and vital part of the industry, and our philosophy is we put gamers first. But what's our origin story? So it's from nearly 20 years ago right now. The GOG, and it was called back then Good Old Games, was founded by CD Projekt Red original creators, so Marcin Michał Kiciński. And back in the day, they were in the States and they ventured to the GameStop shop to find some classical games that we want to play. And they found out that they are no longer available. And it was this difficult time to transition from DOS to Windows XP. So there were huge issues with compatibility. So none of the games were available to buy. And even if you managed to buy them, sometimes they just didn't work because of stuff. And that gave them the idea, since they loved games, they love classical games, to prepare and build a platform which will allow gamers to enjoy and discover classical games and have them playable and accessible on their computers. And hence the GOG, as was called back then, Good Old Games, was founded. After some time, when we managed to secure classical titles and started to feel good about it, we also added modern games like indie, AA's, AAA's, and we changed the name to GOG.com. But the underlying philosophy of game preservation, hence DRM-free games, stayed with us. So you might say that we are fighting the good fight for games preservation for nearly 18 years right now.
You are touching here for an old retro gaming lover. Actually, I'm trying to play Psychonauts, and it's crazy to find a copy of Psychonauts at the moment for our podcast. But I hope I will find it on GOG soon. And guys,
vote on if it's not available. We have a website called the Dreamlist. Vote there, share your stories. It really makes the difference and it helps.
And we will go
maybe
there.
If I
we will go there.
Okay.
We will go there during the interview. But first, I want to touch the topic of the DRM-free games. Of course, this is, I will say, the basic philosophy of GOG. That, as Piotr said, it started 20 years ago. But nowadays, we can say that the new technologies like the cloud are getting bigger, and bigger. Do you see this as a challenge for your DRM-free mission? And especially how GOG is planning to face this challenge without betraying, let's say, the core philosophy of the company?
So, of course, our main focus is on DRM-free, on games preservation. This was, and I think always will be, our mission and what's really deep in our hearts, all of us here. Here at GOG, of course, we are always observing what's happening both in the world of technology, of the games industry. We're always analyzing these situations. For now, I would say it's a bit too early for us to really state what's it going to be for us. Of course, we do see a place for DRM-free and, for example, cloud gaming within the industry together, and like we cooperate with Amazon on a daily basis, with Amazon Luna. There are games from GOG that are available within Luna, and some games of our sister company, CD Projekt Red, are also available in G4 now. So yeah, we definitely see the space for these things to coexist. But for now, it's too early to see where exactly it is going for us.
Yeah, we have a lot of work with premium classical games on GOG platform and PCs. So as Zuzanna said, we are looking into it. We are cooperating with the biggest brands and the biggest cloud providers in the industry. But right now, our main efforts go into GOG platform and premium PC DRM-free games because there's a lot to do for us.
Exactly.
As I said, first we put Psychonauts on GOG, and then we can focus about
Yeah, we can.
The priority.
And guys, speaking about the overall platforms online, of course, GOG is not the only one. There are two big competitors that you have to, let's say, face. That is Epic and Steam, and they are quite big competitors for you because one has a huge user base, and the other one has good exclusives. How did GOG manage to break this duality and be a strong presence in the online platforms selling video games?
I think, first of all, we are the leading European and curated distribution platform. This curated means you're not the marketplace. You can just enter, submit your financial data and have a publisher account on us. We check every game. And because we check this game, we see what is available on GOG. And we also help the developers and the publishers to achieve success on our platform. So that means we put marketing, PR, we highlight the games, give them the much needed visibility on the market. Also, our main target and our niche that we're trying to conquer, or probably we conquered it already, is classical games. So in a sense, we want to be the best platform for back catalog games. So because we make sure they will always work, and not only work, but work properly on your model computer. So once you will buy a game from GOG, you know it should be a good game because somebody checked and allowed it on the platform. And B, if the game is a GOG preservation program, we vow that this game will always work. So if you're looking for this type of games, it's the best value for money you can get on the market. Of course, we acknowledge we are part of the industry. There are different methods, different distribution platforms with different strengths. Our is back catalog games, DRM-free, so and the trust we gave to the users. Please bear in mind that we have, I think, the most gracious return policy on the market. I think it's 30 days, no questions asked, but still we have one of the lowest rate of returns on the market. So our trust to gamers pays off, and I think our community values our position on our sense towards gamers.
Okay, thank you. And going on with the thing that you just said in one of our podcasts, Just Play, I stated that GOG is some kind of saving the history of video games with this huge effort of recovery and preservation of the old video games. But how much work is behind all this? And especially how difficult it is for GOG to acquire the rights? Yeah, how complicated it is to get the rights of the older games and make them compatible with modern computers and modern systems. So give us a glimpse of what is behind the curtains.
So, of course, it's case by case. Each game is different. Each release is different. In the most extreme cases, of course, you start with all this detective work. Actually, who owns the rights to what? Sometimes it's completely split. Sometimes it's some lost papers on someone's attic, and you only know about it because you just stumbled across the right person, you know? So, we do have extreme cases like this. There are games that we are on to for years now, and you know,
sometimes decades, right?
Sometimes decades even, and we keep revisiting those. We keep going back to these people because sometimes when we cannot grasp some release or rights to something, it takes like years for the right person to come in some other company, for example, like in a publisher or developer. Sometimes a right person has to come to the right spot at the right time, and then we're going to go revisit, and this is the person that we've been waiting for that's going to finally tell us, yes, release it on GOG, let's bring it back. So sometimes these are very, very lengthy cases. I think most of the games from the top of our dream list are the ones that we're already investigating for years and tracking, trying to get them. at various stages of this research, of course. When it comes to the technical aspect itself, this also really depends on the game. Some cases are really easy because we have very skilled people in-house as well who can recreate various environments from various eras for these games to bring them back and to prepare builds that are compatible fully with modern systems. Sometimes it's a bit more complicated. Sometimes we stumbled onto insane bugs that we're not able to recreate in some other environment. Sometimes it's easy peasy, and let's pray for more of those easy peasy cases. So yeah, I would say it really differs on a game, on a time it came from, for how long it's been lost. But there's a lot of steps into it, a lot of checking, a lot of researching. So generally speaking, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and if I can add to this, like I think the most difficult one is the legal stuff. As I probably agree that finding why this game is gone and what happened and why it's deleted or who owns the rights, it's the most crucial thing, because counterintuitively, technically we can manage. We've built over the years like a set of internal tools, like our own branch of DOSBox, input wrapper, and DirectX wrappers, which help us bring these games to modern computers. But being able to, from legal staples, is a toughie. But also, of course, at the end of the day, we are a business and we let publishers thrive on our platform. So it also needs to be business viable for them to put this game out. So that means either it's a part of a marketing beat, or it's a research, or it's a revitalization of a franchise prior to a sequel, remaster, remake. So yes, 3 tasks to solve: legal, technical, and business for us, for every game to appear on the platform. And I would also do add that sometimes like it's a crazy adventure when we need to hire detectives to find out if the guy that owns the rights, right? Happened, or find out.
Wait, a real actual detective?
Yes.
No,
we did it once. Yes. We told the story, I think, in previous interviews, but there was a guy who inherited a partial rights to the game, but he was off-grid, so we needed to figure out if he's the guy and if he's willing to talk to us about this. So we hired a detective to find him and talk to him, and he was very helpful, very happy that this thing came through. But yes, sometimes it's even like this, since like the more we go in time, the more complicated sometimes these cases with legal rights can be.
Yeah, I imagine the situation, sorry if I interrupt you, that you are going, I don't know, to Żabka or to someone to buy something, and you see a car that is following you, and you say, okay, they are going to kill me. And then it's just your detective that is following you for the ride.
Don't worry about it.
Maybe just they want your video game,
Yeah, it's just about a video game. We really want it, like really.
Yeah,
but
also it's sometimes could be used.
Just to add to that, releasing a game and finally bringing it back, it's one thing, but then you also have to upkeep this game. And this is, for example, when our preservation program comes in. So then over the years, we also go back to this game, QA it all over again, fix bugs that we might have missed at some point, or some things that our community stumbled upon, because they have, of course, different environments. There's as many PCs as there is players, to be honest. So sometimes we just don't get a certain error, a bug, or something like this. And only when community brings it up, we are able to somewhat recreate it and fix it for those people. So even after releasing, this is a constant work of the continuous preservation, going back to those titles, making sure that they keep being compatible,
Yeah, I imagine. And before, Piotr was saying that one of the first steps is the legal one. And here comes my next question. GOG in the past had an issue, I will say, with Blizzard regarding Warcraft first and the second one. Have other publishers or studio raised similar issues in the past? And especially, how do you handle situation, for example, where the gamers' rights are maybe disappeared, or they are split among different companies, or maybe the owners of the rights are not existing anymore. I mean, you still hire a detective to look actively for this
It's
right or
case by
not?
case, it's case by case. So what we are trying to do to put all the legal rights in one entity within we can cooperate. Sometimes it's really hard and undoable for a foreseeable future. Like, let's say Black and White, it's a split rights between EA and Microsoft, both publicly traded, huge multimedia companies. So putting a team of lawyers on both sides costs sometimes a lot of effort. So while we try, it might be tougher than usual. So yes, the only solution is to talk to people, try to build a business case and make them understand why this would be beneficial both to them, to GOG, and to the industry and gamers as a whole, to bring this game back to the market. So this is the only way. And as you can see, how many games are right now unavailable is not an easy job. We have a very skilled team that does it for a long time. So they know how to talk to people and they know how to approach them, even though it takes years, sometimes decades of hearing no until just from time to time somebody says yes, and then you have this release. Also, sometimes we need to fix other mistakes, like let's say in an example of Alpha Protocol, there was expired license to a music, right? To run songs from a discotheque. 3 minutes, I think, of music made the game disappear. So this is always also a riddle how to solve this. And if we can and can help, then we can not revive this game and bring it back to the platform. So as you can imagine, we want to have all of the classical games on the platform and being available to the gamers. And we are doing whatever we can to have them. Still, there are legal problems, obstacles to solve, and sometimes it just takes a longer time to do it.
Okay. So
I remember one story when we have two friends who hated each other, so we need to have a council to make them talk to each other and decide what.
I mean, you had two friends that hated each other, and then you want to give you the rights?
They made a game. They have a split rights, but they weren't talking to each other, so we had to cancel and negotiate between them to make them talk again to each other and decide if they want to bring the game back, and we managed to do that. So yeah.
So I mean, next one of the next sector of GOG is the wedding advisor, the marriage advisor.
Maybe. Who knows?
There is space, so.
I mean, we
There's
are
space
good
for
at
innovation.
it, just so you know.
Video games and wedding preservation, exactly.
Wedding preservation is actually a very good name for business.
Guys, and during this interview, you say that you have a huge attention to your community. But let's say that the Dreamlist project is amazing, is beautiful, but also show that your community is quite complicated sometimes to manage. It's not the easiest one. Sometimes the community of GOG complained that they were not listening, I would say. And also there was let's say a problem with the fake votes for the Digimon words wish list. So what are the strategies that GOG is going to put in place or is already having in order to manage better the community, but without making them lose the idea of the original let's say value of the company, to make them understand that all you are doing is because something bigger,
Yeah. So our community is absolutely full of extremely passionate people, like really. And we always, because of this, we always try to listen to them as well on social media, on our, we have a core community Discord, in emails that come to us to inquiries. The community is always like a huge chest of treasures for us, full of insights, feedback, and more and more. And what we always try to do is keep the communication open and honest, because the trust of the gamers, the trust of our community is always what's super important for us. And we hope that it can be visible in a way. At the same time, we are a company that has relations and agreements with our partners, with publishers, with developers. So we have to balance those things out sometimes. When it comes to Dreamlist, though, so when GOG first was founded in 2008, we always had game preservation as our main mission. And like, I think I already said it, that the top games from our dream list are, most of them are titles that we already look at, that we already talk about, that we already investigate. And we always take votes, stories, comments, feedback under consideration for those to help in those conversations that we already have, to have more arguments, to have more pressure perhaps, that look, this many people want your game. We've been talking about it for years, but now we have this like physical proof that this many people want this game. So yeah, people all around industry are looking at Dreamlist, are reading the memories of the people that are sharing them. And of course, we can't say which games, but there has been a case where the Dreamlist has had an influence on release of the release. And while doing all this, we want Dreamlist to be the most authentic that it can be, because we cannot base our conversations, our future agreements and what we want to do, the whole mission, on something that has been faked. So this is what happens when people try to ramp up the numbers artificially. We know that we are passionate about it, and they want more numbers, they want the game to have more visibility, but this is unfortunately for us not a way to build those things. So we always want people to understand us. We try to be transparent. So we do put attention into those trials of manipulations. We're trying to secure those votes somehow. And that's why, for example, in the case of Digimon, we erased the fake votes.
Okay, that's good to know.
And your stories gamers does matter. We had cases when people from the industry showed us your memories and said because of that tips the scale, and this is a yes. So share them. It does matter.
Yeah, I will say that also you have this like forum on the website of GOG. That is a huge opportunity for people to speak, to conversate about games. That is a huge open door for the community. So that's good to know. Guys, I will go to the nowadays, to the what is going on in the world and in the video game industry. And one of the biggest things that nowadays we are living is this situation with Visa and MasterCard, that I will say in the last weeks or in the last months, we can say, let's say, put a bit of pressure on some companies to not give the opportunity to sell some games that have violent or sexual content. And let's say that some companies agreed on this. GOG, on the other hand, launched the Freedom to Buy campaign. You offered 13 or even more, I don't remember now, titles that were not available on some platforms for 48 hours. I think you got something like 1 million people, even more, that got these games. And that's why at the beginning I said that you are some kind of anti-system platform. But going back to this Freedom to Buy campaign, how was for you? Did you earn more support or more controversy having this campaign? How changed the place of GOG in the industry after this?
I would say we've got a lot of support, for which we are thankful. Many people reach out to us and give us our support, both from the developer and from gamer community, of course. I think we want to raise awareness about game preservation, and we know that every game that disappears, it will be really hard sometimes to bring it back. So we need to do what we can to keep them on the market. So I would say this is our main idea, that we want to get heard, that the games should not disappear from the market.
Okay. I mean, at this point, I think that if the situation with Visa and MasterCard goes on, I think not even Psychonauts could arrive, because there are a lot of Kojima stuff in the game. So let's go to the other one that is always about preservation. I don't know if Susa wanted to add anything.
No, Piotr said everything.
That is also my last question for today. It's about the Stop Killing Video Games campaign that arrived to the European Commission. It's basically your core market, the preservation of the video games. But what is the GOG position regarding this campaign, and how do you approach this proposal? Did you already met someone of the people that started the campaign? Did you already made some statement? I mean, what is your position?
So at this stage, we don't really have anything to add, any comments to share about this initiative. But as we already talked, we are the biggest European PC game distribution platform. We do know that we have a unique experience in the area of game preservation. So what this initiative is all about. So we are always open to participating in discussions on game preservation and the viability of solutions. Of course, once the discussion is there, and of course sharing our experience and perspective, because we do realize that we have a unique place in here.
Okay, thank you. And guys, as I said, this was the last question from my side. Before setting you free, can you tell us something about any big classic video game that soon will come on GOG, or you can't?
So we have something cooking up. We will have.
You can give me hints, like there is this kind of character. There are.
What we can tell you is that by the end of this month, GOG is going to be celebrating 17th anniversary. We're going to, as per tradition, we're going to have a sale for this occasion. But alongside the sale, we plan to have a lot of things for people, a lot of new releases and some extra goodies, new stuff, additions, and basically just stay tuned for our birthday.
Yeah, stay tuned.
This is gonna be okay. A lot to celebrate, and we do plan a packed anniversary. Yeah. So we hope people will enjoy it and celebrate it with us.
Okay, that's great to hear, and I'm sure that on GameSelf we will be ready to, let's say, give the right amount of space to the GOG video games. So guys,
thank you.
That's all from my side. I thank you once again for being with us today. So guys, wish you a great day, and thank you once again. Bye.
Thanks for having us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.